want to introduce Michael. So Michael Kane works for Carragh Landscapes. He's a former student of ours, and he graduated in, I don't know, what year did you graduate, Michael?
2019, Carragh.
2019.
Yeah.
And he's here to talk to you a little bit about his career journey, and he's here for you to pick his brains, find out some nuggets of information. Off you go then, Michael. Thank you.
Thanks, Carragh. Yeah, look, I'll probably just give a bit of a background to myself, where I studied and what I worked at during the years and where I am now. So I started the horticulture course, level 7 in the Botanic Gardens back in 2011. And obviously that was through WIT, but I was based in Dublin for those 3 years. And during that time, I worked part-time for a landscape company back home in Carningford, where I'm originally from. And I suppose I worked there for 5 years or so, got me through college. And then when I finished up a year after, I moved to Dublin and worked as a landscape supervisor for Noel Dempsey Landscaping. I was there for 2 years until 2018, and then decided to make the leap to jump back down to WIT and do the land management course for the year. So got to see a little bit of the sunny southeast. That year really flew. And then after graduation, I moved to America in summer 2019. And I worked I've done a little bit of traveling, worked for a landscape company there as an estimator. And then moved home in March 2021 and started working for Carragh. I actually still continue to work for the American company remotely, just on a part-time basis. So yeah, it was a really great experience over there, and obviously got to see the industry and how they do things from a landscape construction perspective. But the courses, the level 7 course, I thought it was really balanced in regards to in-class learning and practical learning. Like the first semester is first year, I suppose, is kind of focused on the basics, plant identification and plant biology and things like that. And then it gives you, I suppose, a good indication of what direction you might want to go in your career. I suppose for me, I kind of focused on the design and construction end of things. It's what I kind of had an interest in from working in the industry. So basically wanted to just try and educate myself a bit better on that. The course itself is, we were actually based in Kinseely for a period of time. There we kind of studied the biology and plant education and kind of science subjects because of they had labs out there. Like, not sure if that's still going ahead out there or not. And obviously then there's no better place than for identifying plants in the National Botanic Garden. So yeah, after that, look, I really enjoyed the course. Final year, my thesis was based on it was a design project. So I kind of focused on obviously the history of landscape design, and then the actual practical end of it. I designed how an outdoor space in a public space, and how it's used and the movement of everything in that area. So and then WIT, the level 8 course, the land management, I suppose it's more focused on understanding a business, and how I suppose it's run more efficiently, depending on what area you're working in. But I suppose my favorite subject would have been project management. What I'm working at now, I work as a project manager for Carragh Paving. So that's really what I had an interest in. And obviously the field trips was a good break from the classroom. But I suppose my current career now is a project manager for Carragh Paving, and we do kind of everything from outdoor rooms to planting schemes, constructing ponds. We're lucky in the fact that we are in partnership with Murphy Sheen and Landscape Architects, and they in turn have a maintenance company as well, the horticulture company, who come in after us and maintain the projects to keep them looking their best. So yeah, look, we've really great team. We have 4 or 5 paving crews, 3 soft landscaping crews, 2 full-time carpenters, and 2 building crews. So it's you really do get a great package when we get clients coming to look at our work. So you can check out the website and see what you think. But yeah, that's all really from me. If you have any questions on the courses or anything like that, anything in particular, I can try my best to answer them.
And Michael, thanks for that, for the quick introduction. Listen, I'm just wondering, what would a typical day look like for you as a project manager for Carragh Landscapes?
So I'm lucky that I can work from home. I have that flexibility. Work from home, say, for the first 2 or 3 hours in the morning, and then I'm on the road jumping between the sites. We generally most of our projects are Dublin based, but we do be kind of all around Leinster, and we've had 1 or 2 projects down in Cork and Kerry. So I'm on the road a good bit, but I don't mind that because I'm on the phone a lot as well, so it gives me a chance to take those calls. But typical day would be, I suppose, just making sure all our sites are running properly. Our site managers, we have a site manager on each site. So obviously there's a lot of moving parts happening, so it's impossible to try and keep on top of everything. So you need a good site manager. But so I work closely with those guys and with the office. So we have an estimator in the office. So any extra works that are happening on site, obviously I'm the one that needs to let him know about that and can incorporate that into each of our programs for those individual projects. It's all about kind of trying to maximize profitability and time, so you can move on to the next job. But I'm part of quality control as well, so we need to make sure that the work we're doing is obviously up to the standards. So that'd be a typical day. Fluctuates every week, but that would be a typical day.
Do any of our students have any questions?
I'll just jump in while they're having a think then maybe. It sounds like you have a good balance between like your business side of things and your practical side of things. So probably your design and your hard built and construction comes in handy, and your people management, it sounds like, is a big one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So like they were probably my favorite subjects, and obviously I'm lucky enough to find that career path to utilize those. That, like you said, like people management is, and dealing with people a lot on a day-to-day basis, from our own crews and staff to clients, like, you know, so, and subcontractors and everything. So there's does get busy, but you learn to learn to manage it. Yeah.
What do you think you brought back from America? You know, in terms of going over there, the benefits of traveling, we're always, you know, promoting that with students. Like, what do you think is, you know, your kind of one nugget that really stands to you now that you've brought back?
I suppose it's the contrast of our construction works to their construction works and how they actually price their projects. Honestly, I think we do things slightly better here. They are at it longer, and Ireland is catching up to that. But I think maybe it's just the company with the quality of work that we're doing. I think it is a higher standard to what you might pay for and receive in America. So that was the main thing I kind of took from it.
That's good to see, because we always think faraway fields are greener. So I mean, that's good to.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Is it mostly public or private, or sort of a mix of both? You know, the contracts that you do.
It's probably 60-40 private and commercial. We probably have 4 or 5 commercial projects, but they'd be a huge scale. So we're coming towards the end of one in Malahide at the minute. We're in since August. So obviously there's some delays with the actual build itself, which is obviously having a knock-on effect on the landscaping. So a typical commercial project can run for 6 to 8 months. So but it would be we do a lot of private work. We do 60% probably is our private work. So
would you be involved in the tendering process as well, Michael?
Yeah, we would. Yeah, so we put in bids for the commercial jobs, and then any time we kind of go for the private jobs, we tend to get them, because I suppose it's the type of clients you're dealing with that we tend to think of ourselves that we're a unique company in Ireland that doesn't. We're the only ones that can provide what we're selling. So if to go looking to kind of just focus on ourselves rather than shopping around. So I suppose that's the aim for Carragh, is to be that unique company. So
I always, you know, you always see ads for Carragh recruiting. And we try to send them on to our students, and especially the students who are about to graduate. As soon as we see them, we send them on, because we know that they're, you know, a reputable company and they do well. But have you got any tips for maybe one of our final year students who sees one of your ads and they're shortlisted for interview? Have you any tips for them? How best to prepare?
Look, I suppose what I kind of brought to the interview was the visual end of things, show past work that you might have completed. Like that's a big one, because like it is, at the end of the day, that's what you're going to pay for, is quality work. So if you have any snaps, just put up some sort of a portfolio together and here with you. So that was probably the selling point I'd imagine for myself. So yeah, well, that's probably the main one. And obviously just talk about your past experience in education with WIT. Very reputable college to be to be coming out of.
We'd love to hear that. Now, listen, I'm very conscious that I've been asking a lot of questions, and I don't want to take up any time from any of the students. So I know we have students here who do want to end up working in landscaping. So now is your time to ask those questions, and something you've been wondering, no matter how small, could have a huge help to you.
Off my screen.
Have we a question there for 391481? Michael, while we're waiting to hear from the students, maybe you'd let me know about when you go off out to project manage. What does the team look like? You know, how big is it, and that kind of thing.
In total, I think we're up to 34 employees with 27 on the ground. So we have roughly between 8 and 10 crews at any one time. We could have 3 or 4 on one project depending on the scale. So those projects tend to, in a way, they're less work for myself because I know we're going to be there for 8 months or so, and it's easier essentially running a current project than having to set up a new project that only runs for 3 weeks, because there's just as much work in it, and obviously the deadline is, you know your deadline is coming in 3 weeks. So it is, I'm not going to say more pressure, but it's definitely more time consuming when you're trying to run current projects and start and complete another one within time frame. You could complete 7 or 8 projects before one of your main ones are actually finished up. So I like to see bigger projects coming along. Less work for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I suspect slightly more money as well for the company.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Great stuff. Is there anyone else? We're all very shy this morning.
I have a question for you, Michael.
Hi, Patrick, how are you?
Not too bad. When it comes to your pricing, are you pricing kind of at the start of the year, or are you doing it throughout the year?
So currently for the American company, I'm still part-time, so I essentially just price whenever they send me over projects. So look, no, when I was over there, I was pricing 24/7 all year round. I think in the year and a half I was there, priced 530 jobs. We probably sold 45% of them, which is pretty good considering. But yeah, no, you'd be pricing all year round, and we've a Carragh full-time contract manager and estimator, so he's constantly pricing, and probably 30% of his time is taken up with extras or variations to current jobs, along with pricing new work that's coming in from the architects. So no, you'd be pricing all year round. It's a full-time job, and it is time consuming. So you don't want to make any mistakes when it comes to pricing.
And would you be kind of including now just the way the world is going, like with the diesel and say materials? Like if you say quote materials for 2 months ago, like to say wood and steel, if re-quote again, like I say, the price would have gone up. So
yeah, so last summer we had a clause in our contract that the current price only stands for a week, and even that wasn't enough. We only submitted, say, one price for a new build, and the price of timber went up 35% a day later. So it was almost impossible to try and manage that, but there is a clause in there that due to current, obviously, circumstances, that these quotes will only last for a month. Now it's a month, but last year it was a week, because it was insane.
And another question for your commercial projects, would you be kind of, I don't know, would you be doing would you be using any kind of SUDS design systems in just say your any of your pavings, or if you're doing like the likes of an attenuation pond or something like that for landscaping?
So currently our commercial job in Malahide is actually based on, there's a basement below, so drainage is a big issue. But from our point of view, after the main contractor waterproofs the concrete slabs on top of the basement, we install a drainage mat with Taram. And then we install, depending on your depth, we install 2 to 3 inch clean stone, and then your SR21 and grit and paving. So from a drainage point of view, all we kind of have to worry about is making sure that the drainage mat is installed, and just to cover ourselves, just take snaps beforehand that it is burst and waterproofed properly. So, but drainage wise, then we don't actually do a hell of a lot of work in groundworks in regards to drainage, because most of the jobs that we're coming into have a separate groundworks company on commercial sites. We do a little drainage work, say, on our own residential sites if it needs it, but it's not to a great extent.
Is resin bond paving, is that becoming a more
it is, yeah. We're doing 3 driveways over the next week. Resin bond finished. We're actually supposed to be done this last week, but the snow and rain kind of put a halt to that. But yeah, it is a trend that's coming in, along with porcelain paving. It seems to be making a comeback. That was actually one thing that we noticed in America, that porcelain was making a comeback over there as well. So it's obviously having a knock-on effect here. So we're kind of moving from the Portuguese silver granite to porcelain paving. But it's probably still 60-40 at the minute with where we're using silver granite over porcelain paving.
Yeah. It's the same preparation for that. Like you go around to a hard surface, you're putting down your hard core, and what does the bonding need to go on to? Would it need to go on 804 or something, or duster?
It depends what the original surface is. So if it's a concrete finish, you just bed onto that, or if it's a fairly solid finish, it would be onto 804 and then the sand cement. Prime the base of your slabs so they don't stain over time, and then go out and seal them. So it's the same. It's a similar process to.
We'll have to stop you there because look, great talk, great questions. Thanks a million, Michael, for chatting.
No problem.
Okay.
Good to see everybody.
Just to let everyone know that Carragh Landscapes have sponsored a final prize for the best project in 3rd year. So we'd like to thank Carragh Landscapes and Michael for that prize. So the first prize giving will be at the end of this semester, and we'll announce it later on Moodle. But just to formally thank yourself, Michael, and Carragh.
No problem. Thanks, Amelia. Thanks for having me.